proclamation, and it is POW MIA Recognition Day proclamation. This is something that is very dear to me. Whereas in 1979, Congress passed a resolution authorizing the observance of National POW MIA Recognition Day, and whereas that national observance now takes place annually on the third Friday of September, this year on September 18th, and whereas since 2011 the state of Idaho has required that the POW MIA flag be flown continuously over state buildings until missing members of the armed services return, and whereas Navy, Air Force, and Army ROTC units from the University of Idaho and Washington State University hold an annual recognition ceremony to honor prisoners and former prisoners of war and those missing in action. And whereas the University of Idaho will host this formal ceremony at 3:30 p.m. on Friday, September 18th at the Shatek Amphitheater, and whereas the University of Idaho will recognize Military Appreciation Day at its football game on September 19th, and whereas Americans are grateful for the sacrifices of heroes and of loved ones who may not know the fate of missing members of the armed forces, and whereas it is appropriate to pay tribute to personnel who've never returned from combat in distant lands, to those who suffered as prisoners of war, and to all members of the military who have defended our country, and to whereas the Department of Defense continues to search archives, explore foreign battlefields, burial sites, interview witnesses, and otherwise seek information about those missing from the Vietnam War, Korean War, Cold War, World War II, and other conflicts. Now, therefore, I, Bill Lambert, the Mayor of the City of Moscow, do hereby proclaim September 18, 2015 as POW MIA Recognition Day in Moscow, and I urge all residents to observe that day of honor and remembrance with appropriate activities, including the ROTC ceremony at the University of Idaho. And with that, folks, I have a proclamation I have with us this evening. U of I Veterans Advisor, retired Lieutenant Colonel from the U.S. Marine Corps, Dan Button. And Dan, I'd like to present this to you and have you say a few words, sir.
Okay, sure. Sure. Okay, sure.
If you'd like to give us a few words here, sir.
Thank you very much. Well, first off, Mayor, council members, citizens, thank you very much for this opportunity and, frankly, honor for me to be able to join you briefly tonight in honor of National POW MIA Recognition Day, which we're celebrating on the National Day, as you mentioned, a week from this Friday on board the campus at the Shatek Amphitheater, which is a small, I wouldn't call it intimate, but it's a fairly small natural amphitheater outdoors behind War Memorial Gymnasium, also known as MEM Gym if you've ever been on campus, the old historic building which used to be the basketball venue right there in the center of campus. So again, all citizens, the community, the broader Palouse are encouraged to join us on that day. The only thing I can't do is hook anybody up with a parking pass, and parking's a bugger on campus. I apologize, but you can get a one-day visitor's permit, and everybody's encouraged to attend. On behalf of President Chuck Staben and the rest of the administrators, faculty, staff, and most of all, our ROTC cadre, our cadets, midshipmen, in those three very strong ROTC programs. Our veterans, we have a fairly large number of veterans attending. Our uniformed military guard and reservists, 25 National Guardsmen from this area just back last weekend, a week ago, a whole week late, but had been down at the National Training Center in Fort Irwin, California, 118 degrees doing their summer training, came back. I'm incredibly proud of all the folks we have in uniform continuing to serve, and then of course our veterans who we continue to receive from the last 13 years of conflict. But again, Thank you very much for this honor. I have the privilege of actually reading this. I'll be dressed up a little nicer for the ceremony, but a week from Friday, I'll be a part of the ceremony and we'll be able to share this with everybody in attendance. So thank you very, very much.
You're very welcome. And Lieutenant Colonel, my humble apologies because I will not be there because I'll be en route back from Washington, D.C., as you well know. So if you would please apologize for all those that are there on my behalf, I'd certainly appreciate it. Thank you very much.